right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Tonight, senators support. Republican Josh Hawley visits the United Auto Workers in Wentzville.
Dry and crispy. The only opportunity for rain will come in the next 24 to 36 hours for some of us. Where the system's coming from and why our rain chances are still limited.
And our top story tonight, the first nurses' strike in the history of SLU Hospital.
I want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem.
They'll strike through the night with 9 more hours to go. Tonight, union nurses are no longer manning the picket line, but they are still not at their patient's bedside. Good evening, I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. Their biggest demands: better pay, safer working conditions, and improved staff retention. 5 on Your Side's Diamond Palmer is live outside the hospital in Midtown, where a 24-hour walkout continues. Diamond.
Well, good evening, Mike and Ann. As you can see behind me, things are very quiet this evening compared to what we were seeing earlier when cars were honking nonstop and people were shouting in support of these nurses. They actually wrapped up things on the picket line this evening at 7 p.m. with many of them right now sleeping, preparing to head back to work tomorrow as normal. But this strike will last until 6:59 a.m. Nurses at their breaking point, demanding safer working conditions, better retention, and a fair contract.
Apparently it's not fair because they're out here.
Mavis Thompson, the city's license collector, one of many showing support Monday.
How's everybody doing?
St. Louis Board of Aldermen President Megan Green also showing her support. The National Nurses Organizing Committee and National Nurses United are the ones representing these nurses on the picket lines and conducting this strike. They say they notified the hospital 10 days before the strike and had a 94% yes vote on striking.
I recognize the need to render patient care, to actually be a bedside nurse.
Kim Bacon says she returned to the workforce because of the pandemic.
I want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem.
Sarah DeWilde, a nurse of 10 years, is on the negotiating board. She says the problem goes back beyond this year's failed contract negotiations.
Nurses have been without a raise since 2022.
The union and SSM Health have been in negotiations since May, and nurses without a contract for almost just as long.
And so now 3 months later without a contract, an expired contract, we're here.
SSM Health released a statement in part saying since August 29th, the National Nurses Organizing Committee has declined to respond or counter our proposals on key wage issues. Negotiations can only make progress when both sides are motivated and engaged. City leaders like Thompson say the demands nurses want are simple.
Shorter hours, more people to take care of the sick patients that are here in the hospital.
Now, the union that represents these nurses and SSM Health will prepare to go back to the bargaining table on October 17th. And the nurses tell me if their demands are not met, that's when they will plan for another 24 hours of action. Reporting live here in Midtown, Diamond Palmer, 5 on Your Side.
From nurses to auto workers. For a second straight day, Missouri politicians in Washington showed their support for workers on the picket line at the General Motors plant in Wentzville. Just hours ago, U.S. Senator Josh Hawley visited with several of the striking workers, and our Robert Townsend was there. Robert.
Mike, United Auto Workers Local 2250 have been on the picket line for the past 11 days. Now today, an enthusiastic Senator Josh Hawley told them he will support them throughout the walkout.
Guys, I just want to tell you good luck and I support you.
I appreciate it, sir.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
You.
Republican U.S. Senator Josh Hawley pounded the picket line at the GM plant Monday afternoon in Wentzville.
Are you a veteran? Yes, I am.
Senator Hawley chatted and listened to several of the striking workers.
I was just talking to one individual. It takes him 3 paychecks to pay his rent. He's got 3 kids and he's not living a high rolling lifestyle.
Nationwide, nearly 19,000 UAW workers are currently on strike. UAW negotiators are trying to secure a new contract with the top 3 automakers.
No contract, no will.
Among other things, workers want a 32-hour work week with 40 hours of pay.
And my message is to these companies, they can afford it. These guys deserve not only a pay raise, they deserve not only better health care and more time off, they ought to get guarantees on their jobs.
They're fighting for a better life. I mean, they were promised a lot of things
they took concessions when the company needed it.
Sunday, Congresswoman Cori Bush and fellow Democrat Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez showed their support for the striking Wentzville workers.
We are seeing bipartisan support of the striking workers, and polling shows that the American public is on the side of the striking workers as well.
Sunday, GM said it will continue to bargain in good faith with the union to reach an agreement as quickly as possible.
I hope that they don't have to go 11 days more, because I hope the companies will come to the table. These guys, meanwhile, are getting screwed.
Now, tomorrow, President Joe Biden will go to Detroit to support the UAW union there. And on Wednesday, former President Donald Trump will also travel to Michigan and meet with striking auto workers.
Senator Dick Durbin joined striking GM workers outside of Chicago today. The Democrat shook hands with workers, posed for pictures, and listened to the concerns of union members.
I wanted to show solidarity with these women and men who are here today. I come from a union family. I was raised in a union family. I did not want them to think they're standing out here alone.
Durbin did not want to comment on the negotiations. He says that should stay between the big three automakers and the union.
A live look tonight at the Chesterfield Valley. Our first week of fall so far has been warm and dry, but some areas could see some rain and even some storms tomorrow. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joins us now with that weather first forecast.
Mike and Ann, it's really been hard for us to even buy a raindrop, at least for most of the metro area. Friday, we did have some showers and thunderstorms east of town, and the metro east produced some heavy rain. We had a few around the metro area on Thursday, but not widespread. Sun setting tonight. It was a pretty sunset, looking from 100 above the park. But you look back here so far this month, we're almost 2 inches below average for the month. That could change about this time or maybe a few hours sooner tomorrow evening, at least for some of us. That system to our north and west, that's going to be rotating in here. So it stays quite warm all week. That storm chance is really for later tomorrow, most likely overnight tomorrow night into very early on Wednesday. But not everybody is going to get beneficial rain out of this. Like we've seen the last couple of go-rounds, looks like some of us will miss out on this opportunity. We'll break it down with Futurecast coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Scott. Tonight, St. Louis police are investigating a deadly shooting in North City. A man was found shot in the head inside a crashed car near the intersection of Page and Sarah. That's in the Vandeventer neighborhood. No arrests have been made. Developing tonight, a manhunt in central Missouri. Columbia police are looking for the man they believe was involved in a deadly shooting that killed a 3-year-old boy. 28-year-old Larry Brownlee Jr. is wanted on charges of second-degree murder. Police say Brownlee and his girlfriend were driving her young son to a fire station when they crashed. The child had been shot in the torso. He was taken to a local hospital where he later died. Police say Brownlee has a record of assault, and the public should not approach him.
2 people are dead after a triple shooting outside a Cahokia Heights bar. Officers were called to Teddy's Jew Joint on Old Missouri Avenue just after midnight. 2 men were taken to the hospital where they died. Police say the third victim walked out of the hospital against the advice of doctors. So far, no arrests. A former nurse at Vianney High School will not spend any time in prison for the sexual assault of a student. Erin Forrestel pleaded guilty to statutory sodomy today. The victim was under the age of 17 at the time of the assault, which happened at the school. In court today, the victim's parents said Forrestel preyed on their son for months on social media. Prosecutors say the plea deal was based on the wishes of the family.
And there's times and cases where the family wants to be able to get closure and move on and not have their this situation put out for public scrutiny any more than it has been already.
Forrestel can no longer work as a school nurse. She must register as a sex offender and move away from the school.
Tomorrow, demolition begins on Jamestown Mall in North St. Louis County. The shopping center, which opened 50 years ago, has sat empty since 2014 and has fallen into disrepair. Recent fires have caused more damage. The future of the 145-acre property is still being decided. St. Louis County Councilwoman Shalonda Webb, who's been advocating to tear down the abandoned mall, calls it a clean slate.
I've heard so many wonderful stories of what Jamestown meant to their wonderful memories. We need to create new memories for new families and new youth. A lot of youth said they spend lots of time here. We have nothing in District 4 in North County for our youth.
Demolition will take months. The county is spending $6 million in American Rescue Plan Act funding. The state has thrown in another $6 million. Well, tonight, NBC's The Voice returned for a new season with a new coach joining the red chairs.
And 2 local musicians are hoping to make it through the blind auditions for a chance at stardom. Brent Solomon is live in Cottleville tonight, where fans of 16-year-old country singer Ruby Lee gathered to cheer on the Foley native. Brent.
They sure did, and I tell you what, fans packed JP's Hideout restaurant tonight. Of course, it was day 1 of the season premiere of The Voice. And take a look at this. Let me show you who this is. This is 16-year-old Ruby Lee. She has yet to take the stage, but she's expected to do so tomorrow, along with another local favorite. Of course, The Voice is back and bigger than ever with new judge, country sensation Reba McEntire. Over in Cottleville, Missouri tonight, a sea of red as fans and loved ones packed JP's Hideout restaurant. They came to cheer on Foley native Ruby Lee, the 16-year-old singer, a familiar face around here. She's been performing every couple of weeks at the restaurant for the past few years. Ruby didn't take the stage tonight, but her fans believe she will debut on The Voice tomorrow for day 2 of the season premiere's blind auditions.
A lot of the people here support her. They have supported her, and they've been here many times, and it's really cool to see them to come back and celebrate with us. She can do everything. She can do the blues, she can do rock, she can do country, she can do it all, and it's like transforms whenever she sings.
Now, of course, there's another local favorite expected to take the stage tomorrow. That's 2020 Waterloo High grad Eli Ward. So as you can see, excitement on both sides of the river as we have some local favorites vying to become superstars. You can catch The Voice every week right here on 5 on Your Side. We're live in Cottleville. Brent Solomon reporting.